Pilati, Tim Big Shep Shepla, and Kevin Michael Whitey Gleason. Cheerio, Rice Krispie.
Yeah, great. Happy Saturday, Kevin Whitey Gleason. Welcome to a very special edition here of the True Sports Card Show. Special because you're here, of course. Also because we've got the A-team running things today. Christopher Lott on the board for it today. How about that? Am I the only one that's going to flog Christopher Lott? Okay. Well, I'm excited about it anyway. Yeah. We're having some technical issues already. Also, we have a special guest coming up bottom of the hour. Jerry Reynolds is going to be with us.
Yes.
King's icon, and now here he is. He's the king of cardboard. He's the prince of parallels. He's the salt and the short prince, and I do mean short. Emran Pilati. What's up, Emran?
Every week there's something like that, and you catch me off guard. What you don't know, audience, listener, is that off the radio, you're one of the most off mic. We just talked about this before we got on the air. You're the most mild-mannered, quiet dude out there.
Which is the real me?
Yeah, which one is it? And then out of nowhere, Prince of Parallels.
You're the Prince of Parallels. That's a nice thing, right? Prince of Parallels.
Good morning to you. We switched seats today because we anticipate people potentially calling in or doing the text line. And although I am somewhat technology savvy, thank goodness that we have Christopher Lott here.
Yes.
As well as you handling.
As soon as I mentioned Chris, we're a good ass today. Chris, we're on the board, and then we can get you on the air.
He's like this. Let me show you how I do it on Dave's show. Mute. The card guy's here. Mute.
By the way, thank you, Peg Junk says, Pards, what's up?
Card Pards. We are the Card Pards.
Yes.
Yeah, so today, just want to let you know there's a show going on. There's a card show going on in downtown Sacramento. Many people have asked me the question, are you guys affiliated with it? The answer is no, we're not affiliated with it. So unfortunately, I can't answer any questions regarding that, but I can tell you that not only myself, Shep, and others will be at the shop today. I'm actively buying aggressively. Yesterday, I bought two big collections, including one with a Jordan rookie in it. As always, I love those, and including a Wayback Machine, Whitey's Wayback Machine, 70s baseball. In fact, probably 150 pages, 9 pocket pages,
right?
150 that are just loose sitting there of 70 and 71 Topps baseball.
Oh my goodness.
The black border one and the gray border one.
I'll give you $50 for the whole thing.
That seems like a deal. Yeah,
that's great.
We spent 4 figures on that one yesterday. All the while, okay, so
those will be available to us, right?
I'm working through them. Yeah. Last night they were in 4 screw down card holders.
Oh yeah.
Of about 200 of them. So I was watching TV last night, really late, just kind of unscrewing these and wondering why did anybody ever use these? But back then, I think you and I used to put them in the screw downs.
Yeah,
I threw them all away.
That would be a good name for the show if we added one more person. The 4 screw down card holders.
Yeah, that's not good. The screw downs would have been fun.
Yes.
Yeah, the screw downs. Who we got? Peg Junk in the mix with us. We've got MC Calcium. Is that Calcium? Is that what it says?
Sure.
Oh, my glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love having people call in or text or ask questions. We got Jerry coming on at 10:30. I'm excited to talk to him. I don't think he's excited to talk to me, but
no, I texted him last night and he's like, yeah, I'll come on. So he's been on the station 214 times this week. And he's like, yeah, I'm good. I felt bad. Jerry, Emran wants to see you. Yeah, I'll call in.
And not only did I asked really late last night.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, catching you awake.
Waking me up.
Yeah.
What's that?
He was in his nightcap and gown.
Yeah.
Wearing
my hot toddy.
8:27. What's going on over here? Yep. So I texted.
Hey, your boy was burning the 1030 oil this week.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Were you?
Yes. Out at Sutter Health couple nights.
Let's talk about
you were last night.
Let's talk about that. All right. So, I was fortunate enough. Our friend Wes, friend of the show, friend of the shop, has great seats at Sutter Health Park. So he invited me and had 2 tickets and said, hey, we've got really great seats. And it's part of the Legacy Club. I didn't know what that was. I said, that's great, whatever that is. And got to hang out. And Wes's seats, he has 4 right behind the A's dugout, right like where our hands are on the dugout. We're touching it. Nobody in front of us. Great seats. And so Jessica wanted a night off, so that way she didn't have to be mom. So I brought Becky. It was just me and my 2-year-old.
She said she wanted a night off from him, but we know who she really needed a night off.
Yeah,
from.
she's like, well, I mean, you can bring him, but as long as you're gone.
Right.
Yeah. So we went to the game. Becca and I went to the game, and what a great experience. It was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed that park. I've been there as a River Cats attendee when it was River Cats versus Giants. They had an exhibition last year. I sat on the grassy knoll. Yeah, different experience than where we were sitting yesterday. And the Legacy Club is where you can go in and get food, and it's all included into the ticket pricing. I've never bought a ticket for the Sacramento A's. I saw the original Cubs opening day tickets. They were really expensive. I don't know what they're at now as far as actual pricing. But
my understanding is, pardon me, but to that point,
sure.
I believe there are some season ticket holders who are not overly thrilled with the fact that, they paid big money up front and now some of the ticket prices are going down.
Fluctuating.
It's just, one of the many things the A's are working through here in the River City.
And I will tell you that last night felt like a Mets home game. There were a ton of Mets fans there at the game. And I think that this team transitioning from Sacramento to Vegas is going to experience this over time. In a couple of weeks, we have the Yankees coming through here. What do you think that's going to look like? Right?
Yeah.
It's going to be Yankees with a smattering of A's of A's fans.
It was full of Padre fans this week.
Yeah, you went to the Padres games, right?
A couple of those. Yeah, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. A lot of San Diego fans. To your point, I think it's going to be that way.
Well, if you're gonna be an A's fan and you enjoy baseball and you want to watch A's play, why wouldn't you sell your A's versus Yankees tickets at a massive premium to recoup some of the dates that you're, you know what I mean? You're spending tens of thousands of dollars for your season ticket seat, depending on where you're sitting. If you could capture a nice chunk of that by selling your Yankees A's tickets, maybe go to one and then pass the other two off to sell. I could understand why people are doing that. So I just have a feeling that it's going to be that way, both in Sacramento and Vegas. We've experienced that in Las Vegas with the Raiders. You go to the game and it's like, if the Steelers are playing, you see a lot of yellow in the crowd. If the Niners are there, you're going to see a lot of red in the crowd. I remember going to a Chiefs and Raiders game in Vegas and seeing a sea of red. So I just think that these pit stops, and in fact, if I recall correctly, way back, I read a book called Your Marketing Sucks. It's an actual book. And they talked about how you can take a negative and turn it into a positive. When the New Jersey Nets were terrible, which was like the Chris Morris years. Remember those years?
Sure.
Derek Coleman, they were horrible. Instead of trying to hype up the team, the marketing team said, hey, come check out. We have Patrick Ewing coming into town. We have Michael Jordan coming into town. So they'd be pushing Nets advertising for the visiting team coming in. That's kind of how the A's are doing it right now.
Do you know, by the way, what the New Jersey Nets came this close to changing their name to? This is a true story. You won't believe me if you don't know the story.
What years was this?
90s, I think.
Okay.
You wouldn't guess it. They really, and I think they were really close to calling themselves the New Jersey Swamp Dragons.
You're not.
I'm totally serious. They were pushing for that, and either the league shut it down or someone decided, but they had a logo and everything.
Well, anybody should shut that down. Anybody should shut that down.
How was the crowd last night? According to the box score, 9,632 were there.
That sounds about right. There was a lot of empty seats in there. Yeah. I don't.
It looked like that on TV, but it's hard to tell.
You also have a lot of people that cross over and went to the Kings game.
Right. They had 16,430 something.
Kings almost sold out is what you're saying.
According to the box score, yeah.
Got it. How did it feel when you were you were at Tom's watch bar.
I was at Tom's watch bar, did not attend last night. Certainly will be attending tomorrow, a big game for the Kings, but was not there last night.
Let's talk a little Kings.
Okay.
Let's talk a little Kings.
Sacramento Kings?
Wanted to give you guys a heads up on tickets for the A's today. You can, through StubHub, get into the building with a seat for $36 a ticket.
Wow.
Season ticket holders are feeling great about that.
Yeah.
You get behind home plate for $45.
No.
Not like you're like row 17, $45.
Yeah. I know that.
And it's a 1:00 game, I think.
Yes.
My daughter bought tickets behind home plate. We're in row 7 on Tuesday. And then I was telling her about the ticket things, and she was looking up some prices, and she said, oh, I should have waited to buy my tickets.
Yeah.
But they're great seats. Yeah. I wonder, the crowd count has been a little lower than a lot of people anticipated. So maybe a lot of people just thought, the resale market was going to be hotter than it ended up being.
Hey, it's not confirmed, but I believe that if you sit in the bleachers, they will give you money to take the tickets. I haven't confirmed that yet, but please.
Sure.
Please, we'll give you hot dogs too.
Uh-huh.
Please come. Please.
That's the old joke about when the Giants weren't drawing anybody. You call up, say, what time's the game? And they'd say, well, what time can you make it?
That's good. What time do you?
what time's good for you?
Never heard that before.
Yes,
All right.
way back in the 70s.
All right. So the Kings, obviously, we thought that this Sunday game tomorrow was going to matter because of Phoenix versus the Kings getting in potentially, but now it's fight or flight in regards to the Kings and the Mavericks, who's playing their first home game on the play-in. So it's going to be Kings and Mavericks guaranteed. It's just where are we playing on Wednesday?
Yes.
So here's the thing, right?
Mhm.
If I did the math correctly,
Here's the scenario.
peep this, homie. If we go,
I'm glad I didn't try that.
that is a word or whack. That's your game. If both teams win tomorrow, because the Mavericks are playing the Grizzlies and the Kings are playing the Suns, if both teams win tomorrow, the Kings still beat the tiebreaker.
Yes.
If both teams lose tomorrow, the Kings still win the tiebreaker.
Right.
So if it flips, Kings lose, Mavs win, we're going to Dallas.
Right. Wednesday's game will be in.
Try making a shot during a Fire Nico chant. Good luck.
And Dallas is playing Memphis, if I'm not
That's correct.
mistaken.
Grizzlies.
Yeah. The Kings got
I
what's
can't-
left, the husk that used to be the Phoenix Suns.
And who knows if they'll even play Durant or Booker or any of those people. Chris Verlot is incredible on the ones and twos for research. Chris, who plays first tomorrow?
Same time.
Exact same
By
time?
Yeah.
design. All the Eastern Conference games start at 10 our time, and all the Western Conference games start at 10:30 for that reason, what you're getting at, so that you can't, a big game will not mean less because, we needed to win, but so-and-so lost, so now it doesn't matter.
Wait, you said 10:30?
10 o'clock our time is all the Eastern Conference games.
Oh, got you.
12:30 our time is all the Western Conference games.
Wow. So we're gonna be scoreboard watching tomorrow.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris, maybe you know, how do we get tickets to a game that doesn't yet exist on Wednesday here locally?
I think they might have already started selling them.
Sounds like Sacramento Kings to me.
By the way, tomorrow's another one of those days where we have the Kings and the A's playing at the same time. Those two teams, when they're playing on the same day, they're combined 0-6 so far this year.
So I watch the games when I'm not able to watch Kings games on replay. You know, I put on my Hulu. I just press the record. I watch when I get home. I stay away from social media. Well, Beckett and I were, he was a trooper last night. We left the A's game in about the 6th or just before the 7th inning.
Mhm.
He was done.
You missed a rally by the A's. It came up just short.
I did. But I knew that the Kings game had ended time-wise. And I'm driving home, and there ain't no beam. And I was like, oh, man. As I'm driving past on going towards the 80.
Look at that. See, I almost texted you and said, because I know you do that. I almost texted, hey, this is a really good game. And I wasn't going to tell you anything, just, wow, good game. But I didn't even think
I mean,
of that.
if we won last night, we would have clinched the spot, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, yeah, sometimes driving home when you have stuff on delay,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, is there no beam? I'm looking at literally spanning in the sky. Where's the beam?
Yeah.
No beam.
Yeah. One of those nights, when was it? I think it was Monday. The Kings beat Detroit in Detroit, and the A's were playing, and a lot of people were trying to spot the beam, and it was hard to see because of the stadium lights. It was really hard to pick up. I couldn't see it till I was in the parking lot. But I understand you're driving by it, you expected to see it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
too bad.
And then so
That's a tough spoiler right there.
Did I tell you that time that Jessica and I had that wonderful dinner at the Kitchen?
Mm-hmm.
A great restaurant here in Sacramento. It's a Michelin star rated restaurant. So we go, and I'm purposely not looking at my phone. I know that the Kings are playing that night, and I'm recording, and I try to stay away from social media, or even I put people on mute for texts that tend to spoil stuff for me while I'm,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So I usually start the game after the game ends. That's about the time I get home. We get out of the kitchen. We have a wonderful dinner. It's an amazing time. I had a date night with my wife. I walk out and the beam is just right in front of my face as soon as we walk to the parking lot. And I was like, I guess I don't have to watch.
Did you hear that the A's had on opening night, they had the Tower Bridge lit up green and gold?
Really?
Yes. And that was, didn't win that night, but they had it lit up. My understanding is they didn't get permission to do that. So they haven't been able to do it. And somebody, Amadrock, who listens to us, looked it up. If the bridge is green, that tells the pilots of the ships the bridge is up. You can go under. So someone had to tell them, you can't light up the bridge green.
So green and gold is what it was?
Yes.
Okay. So which one says run the drone into the wall? What color is that? Green as well?
Yeah, I think so.
That first day couldn't have gone any worse for the Sacramento A's.
Yeah, they had some issues. Then Tuesday, they had their first win, and Stomper was doing the, all right, 3, 2, 1, stomp. And fireworks were supposed to go off, but the fireworks didn't fire and they didn't work. So
those are the
those
are the two components of fireworks.
Yes.
Fire and work.
Yes.
And neither showed up that day.
2. Yeah. By the way, may I mention something about cards before we dive too much further into the Kings? And thank you, Imran. Imran set me up with some Boomers baseball, which is a new set. I had no idea was even.
You didn't even know what I was talking about, and you were
not.
like, "Sounds great, thanks you so much." And I was like,
I didn't.
He gets off the phone and he's like, "Honey, I don't know what he's talking about, but he's bringing me Boomers something cards."
Yeah, and I assumed it was a shot at me being older. I got some Boomers baseball for you.
Way to go, Boomer!
Okay, Boomer. But it's Chris Berman, and I don't know why Topps got Chris Berman to put a little cartoon likeness on these cards, and so some of the cards have his nicknames. And they're expensive, right? It's 60 cards. It looks like a blaster box, but it's 60 cards, and they're going for what, Imran?
We have them on our shelf at $125 a box. It looks like you said, it looks like a blaster box.
Yeah.
But I didn't know anything about it. In fact, when I went to my supplier, I saw it on the shelf. I go, oh, a couple of these blasters, Chris Berman, this would be fun. I'll grab a couple. And of course, I don't look at anything until I don't look at the invoice until I get back to my shop. I'm all, $100 What's in this? Gold?
Yeah.
Pieces of Berman? What's in this thing?
I wanted to, you were nice enough to let me go through them. Apparently, there's autographs, according to Topps.com, there's autographs in one of every 2 boxes.
Of course, I gave you the one without.
Yeah. Thanks.
I bought 2, by the way.
Yeah.
I'll open the one.
And they're all, everybody in the set, they got a bunch with Berman's goofy nicknames, which, everyone was going through them before the show and he's cracking up. And I'm like,
they're funny.
They just don't work for me, but whatever. There's those, and there's a lot of numbered parallels, but everybody in the set is either a star or a big star. So if every other box has an autograph and they only have stars and big stars in there, you have a pretty good chance of getting a really good autograph.
Could you have gotten?
I did not, but
could you have gotten Bernard innocent until proven guilty?
Could have, but I got Eddie Eat, Drink, and Be Murray.
You didn't get Jeff Conine the Barbarian?
No, but I did get Ronald Acuna Matata. I kid you not.
Jeff See-Through Blouser.
David Supreme Court Justice. I got that.
Okay. I'll give you one last one. Let's see here. It truly is. Bert B. Bly 11 is probably the best one that he ever came up with.
Yes.
Eric Sleeping with B Enemy is pretty good too.
Pretty good. Yes.
So you got nothing out of there.
No, I got like 5 numbered cards, like 1 to 35, 1 to 50, 1 to 75, 1 to 149, and 1 of 199. So there's nice cards in there. There was a lot of hits, and they downplayed. It's like, look for parallels, look for autographs. But you can get, from my experience, you get a lot of hits in there.
I got some really expensive stuff that just came out.
I'll take one.
Yeah, why not? All right, so 2023-24 Immaculate Basketball just came out.
Ooh.
Remember, they're always 1 year plus behind. What regular season ends tomorrow.
Yes.
This is Wemby's rookie year product.
Really?
Yes, 23-24 Immaculate.
A Wemby Immaculate is going to be a
massive
heavy item.
So let's see if I can find some prices on this. So just to let you know, it comes with less than 10 cards, and it is right around, we have it on our shelf for $2,095 plus tax.
And it's like 1 card, right?
About less than 10. I want to say 9 or 8.
I think it might be 6. Is it 6?
No, you're thinking of a different one, which I'm going to go through next too.
Okay.
It's called Topps 3. Peg Junk actually asked about in the YouTube chat. So with the Immaculate Basketball, we're looking at it's usually retails between $2,100 to $2,250. I'm looking up the cards right now. It's just one of those that you're like, why are we spending so much money on this product? Because there's no Wemby autographs in this thing. You can get jerseys, you can get Wemby, you can get Brandon Miller, but you can't get autographs of the top guys. You just can't because they're all exclusive to Fanatics and Tops. So, I've never been a big fan of Immaculate in football because Panini just often doesn't use game used stuff. I love old Upper Deck 96, 97, 98 because everything was game used back then. Everything was game used. Now it's just not from any specific game or event is what they will put on the back of it, which is disappointing when you're spending $2,000 on a card.
What is it then? Yeah.
You're looking for the logo men. That's where they take the jersey and they take the little portion where the Jerry West silhouette and they have that logo on the card. Those are one of ones in almost all cases, and those are worth some serious money. LeBron didn't have an autograph version of it in the Flawless product, but that still went for $1 million, the triple logo man. So it was 3 of his game used jersey logo men, and it went over $1 million at Golden.
I don't think my Bill Madlock DA card is worth that.
Yeah,
much.
I was going to say, yeah, terrible.
That's the Berman nickname on the card. Bill Madlock DA. I had to sit there and go, what? Oh,
Matlock. Got it.
Yeah.
One signer that is in the Immaculate product that is very hot is Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan has signed very little in general.
Chris Watkins' all-time favorite player.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. And he's in this product, and all Duncan autograph stuff is pretty expensive. Your best case scenario for autographs that are rookies are probably going to be Keontae George. I don't like. It's not strong. The Thompson twins.
Want people to buy this?
Yeah. This stuff is terrible. $2,100 on our shelf. I will likely I don't have very much of it. It will sell no matter what.
Yeah.
So what I probably should do is some sort of I've done these before and I enjoy doing them. They're called draft breaks. So if I look, the box will have, I'm looking right now. There's 6 cards. You're correct. That's 6 cards. So what we'll do is we'll just divide $2,100 divided by 6, whatever that math is. I went to public school in Stockton. So I don't know what that number is. 21 divided by 6.
It's going to be 7 point something.
$700. No, that's incorrect because that'd be $4,200. $70 is that what you meant? You know what you could do? I could use this little machine that's called a phone, and I'll just use my computer, my handheld computer here. $2,100 divided by 6 cards, $350 a card. So I'd charge $350 a spot. We would randomize the spot. So Whitey gets
Peg
one.
Junk had it.
Thank you, Peg Junk. I'm on it. Yeah.
By the way, AC says, I believe 93 Upper Deck football flagship had a Chris Berman nickname subset. So thank you for that, AC.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe explains a little bit of the history.
But that would miss it. If it was 93, that meant that it'd miss out on a lot of cool names of players that hadn't been
correct
through the system yet, like Albert Winnie the Pujols.
Yes. Right. You're right again.
Ben
Aaron.
Technicolor Dream Coats.
These
are terrible. And he would say them with such confidence. Roberto, remember the Alomar.
That's not bad.
That's not bad.
It is, but
the worst one. Carlos, 1 if by sea, 2 if by land, 3 if by
Erga. Yeah. I'll bet you if you did that today, anyone did that today, players would go, shut up. We hate that. Don't do that.
I'm annoyed by this. Please.
Yes.
You're messing up my shot. Jeff Brown Paper Bagwell. Terrible stuff. Maybe I'm sorry I gave you that product.
20 minutes ago, you were bending over with laughter at those, and now you're starting to sour.
Well, I said them out loud now. It's like going back and watching some stuff that you laughed about when you were a kid and going, and being a kid was like 20 minutes ago is what I should say. Yeah.
I got to interview him once before the
Berman
Raiders Tampa Bay Super Bowl in San Diego. He'd injured his knee. And he was the nicest guy. And I just want to say that because, like I said, I'm not a big fan of nicknames or some of the shtick, but he was one time I was able to talk to him. He was a very nice guy. I appreciate that.
There's some really bad ones here.
But I kind of knocked you off your stride there because you
Sorry.
were telling us about your Panini.
Chuck, New Kids on the Knob Block.
Okay. Yeah.
Immaculate on sale right now at True Sports Cards at 6661 Stanford Ranch. We've got it for $2,100.
Aren't there Wemby parallels and things?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Just no autographs.
Yeah.
Just no autographs.
Yeah.
Although I will tell you that one of our great customers, Curtis, who opened a box of Topps Midnight, which is like 3 autographs per box, pulled a Wemby numbered auto out of a pack we had on Thursday, I think.
Wow.
Around $1,000.
Yeah, I saw that.
Great card.
Picture. Yeah.
So Immaculate, get it now while it's hot or not.
I think who did a worse job of selling a product, me with the Berman or you with your Immaculate?
I think it's just both. It's like owning a burger shop and going, go vegan.
Yeah.
Don't
the
eat.
Berman cards, if you're in it for ROI, you got a decent chance to get some decent stuff.
Yeah, and with Immaculate you do as well.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. I just shook my head on air. If you hit, you hit. I mean, if you hit, you really hit an Immaculate. $1,000 Wembys, couple $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 Wembys.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see that kind of stuff. I really I'm so tired of talking about the haves and have-nots in each product, the licensing versus the autographs in each product. I can't wait till whether you like it or not, listener, it's coming down the pipeline. 2026. In fact, later this year, basketball around October will hit, where Topps and Fanatics will have the NBA licensing then. So you'll see some product that'll be probably of this rookie class. It's going to have the licensed product and autographs in it. And then early, I want to say I believe it coincides. It's not confirmed, but it coincides with the Super Bowl of next year to where the licensing flips to Topps and Fanatics the day after the Super Bowl. Almost like a Manic Monday or something. Yeah, so they'll be able to create that product.
The Super
license.
Bowl that's going to be played in
London. I don't know where.
It's going to be right down the road
At Levi Stadium.
Yeah, isn't that right, Chris Verlon? Yes.
I have trauma, PTSD from going to that Levi Stadium game. I went to that Thursday night Rams versus Niners game. 12-9.
Yeah.
Yeah. No touchdowns.
12-6, whatever.
12
whatever.
In the rain. Where Debo dropped the go ahead touchdown after he'd been complaining about not getting the ball, and the fans just booed him mercilessly. I got there at halftime. It's raining. I'm sitting in the rain.
You got there at halftime?
I left Sacramento 4 hours before the game and I hit traffic like that. Got there, parked in the $40 parking lot 6 blocks away. It's pouring rain. My wife is like, we have to walk through this. Of course, the guy with the bicycle rickshaw shows up with the covered. Would you guys like a ride? How much is it? $50. It cost me $90 to get to the stadium at halftime from 6 blocks away to watch the Niners not throw. There's no touchdown in the entire game.
Right. Could have been worse. It could have been 3 touchdowns and you could have missed them all. That would have been worse.
I'll tell you what. It was gifted tickets to go to that stadium. And we had like that, kind of like the Legacy Club where you could get your food.
Mm-hmm.
They lost money with me. I put so many peanuts and popcorn and everything in my pockets to take home.
Mm-hmm.
It was bad. We ate all the way home. It was awful.
That's too bad. You need to game plan.
Is Jerry with us?
Jerry's going to be. We're endeavoring to reach Mr.
Endeavoring
Reynolds.
to reach.
Yeah, Jerry Reynolds. Right.
That's
now.
the first time that's ever been used on this show. Endeavoring. All right, I'll leave you with one last product.
Okay.
We had this week Topps 3 come out. We thought Immaculate was high end. This is one of them as well. Topps 3 is a basketball product from Topps, obviously, and it's 3 cards. We have it on our shelf, lower than MSRP. We have it at $525 a box for 3 cards.
What?
Yep. Yep.
I'm sorry. What?
Who is that? Peg Junk? Peg Junk, can you do the math on that, please? Yeah. So it's one of the really high end products. But what I love about Topps versus Immaculate is you have the ability to pull the names, the Wembys, and those that you're looking for in the autograph product.
All right.
So.
We've just pulled a name here. Thank you, Chris Verlot, for lining us up. Nice enough to join us for, again, the 2027th time on the station this week. We appreciate his generosity with his time. All-time Kings icon returned to the TV analyst chair this week. the great Jerry Reynolds. Jerry, how are you today, sir?
Just finished mowing my yard, so I'm feeling pretty proud of myself. So I can now get permission to watch Masters rest of the day.
Wow. Living large.
You and
Living large.
You and Whitey love your garden work. You
We
sure?
do. Well, I don't know. Whitey might. I don't. But
Well,
I accept certain parts of it in order to get things that
Jerry, every
Bargaining.
Saturday, Whitey and I have this, sports card show, and he's always looking at his watch, trying to get out of here. He keeps looking at the clock. I go, "What's going on?" He goes, "I got gardening to do. I got
Gardening, yard work.
I have
There's
yard
a
work-
big difference.
yard work to do."
Yard work. Yeah.
Well, Imran, are you sure it's gardening or just getting away from you?
Thank you.
He's trying to, he's trying to get out of here for sure. Thank you so much, Jerry, for joining us. It's funny because I was at the A's game last night, and you came up in conversation around us, the guys talking behind us. You go, "Oh, we saw Jerry on TV. It was great to see him." And I go, "Jerry would be great to have on the show tomorrow." So I text Whitey at, I don't know, what was it, 8:40. He was in his nightcap asleep.
Yeah.
He had just had his Earl Grey tea, and he was ready for bed. And he responded back. He goes, "Are you serious? Do you want Jerry on the show?" I said, "Absolutely." And I wasn't expecting you to be up to be able to respond
he's
back.
watching the game.
Oh, he's watching the game.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. I was watching actually basketball.
I will tell you this, Jerry.
I don't know if that surprised you, but I do a lot of that.
Well, I've wanted to watch a lot of Kings games this year too, and I passed on a couple myself. But I will tell you, I was mentioning earlier on the show, I'm driving home from Sutter Health Park with my son Beckett, and we're looking for the beam, and I didn't see it, and I know the game had ended. So
Sky was beamless.
yeah, it was kind of killed my TiVo experience.
Well, I think the beam is. Somebody says it might have rusted over on top there. I don't know.
They covered it for the winter.
Yeah.
Jerry, here's some
So-
questions. Here's some questions for you. So first of all, having you back on TV was so fun, such a great memory watching you do your thing. Tell me about what it was like. Did you feel like this is something that I'm ready? Let's do some more of this, or were you like, the nostalgia was great, I'm going to go back to mowing my lawn and watching the Masters?
Oh, it was a blast. One and done was great for me. I mean, my current situation. I mean, I told Katie I could do a game a year if long as I'm like I am. But one and done is about right. And but it it was great to see everybody at the arena and stuff, because I try not to get out of my recliner anymore than I have to, but just to get in there and visit with a lot of the people in the media room, and coaches and fans, especially fans, and then some ushers, and just people that are around the building a lot that I got to know over the years. So and then of course just the game itself, do it live. It's always exciting. I say doing color is really exciting because you're talking about action. That's happening. I did play pre and post game for a couple of years after I retired, just home games. I didn't like it at all. It was boring. It was really boring. So.
Yeah, I was going to also say that the Jerryisms were some of my favorite memories. Hippity hopped to the barbershop.
Mm-hmm.
The Bibinator or the Bibble. It's Bibblicious.
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 Yeah, Bibblicious is coaching now.
Oh yeah,
man.
Bibblicious is Sac State.
Coaching.
Absolutely. Stingers up. And then we've got what was the other one that I absolutely loved? Discombobulated. We just got combobulated. And he was just combobulated. Great
Well,
stuff.
I always wondered about some of those terms like that. He's discombobulated. Okay, well, what then is combobulated? We need more combobulation.
That's what the world needs right now.
More
Yeah.
combobulation.
Yeah. I want to ask you about the game last night. And I apologize for interrupting you down the stretch of the game last night when I was texting you. Things were getting really interesting. This is probably a silly question, but over the years you've been very patient with my silly questions. Why don't NBA perimeter players box out better? I mean, if that was my team and it was a high school team, our next practice, we'd be working on boxing out. And I know there's a lot more to the game, but a couple of key possessions. I know Keon didn't box out Harden, just kind of turned around, walked to the rim. Harden gets the rebound. Why don't perimeter players in the NBA box out better, Jerry?
I'll just give you my take that I learned a long time ago from John Wooden, that on the perimeter, if you're really trying to go to box a perimeter guy out, you'll never get the rebound. Because the time you try to box him out, he's past you. What you need to do, a shot goes up, react, and go to the ball. And probably on that very play, if Keon had just went after the ball, he'd have the inside position just by reacting. And I believe that's true. I mean, in other words, I know in the paint area, you can box, you can find a guy quickly because he's a foot away.
Sure.
And then he's only trying to move a foot or two. But a perimeter guy, like say you're 3 or 4 feet away, time you turn and find him, he's gone.
Gotcha.
So you better you've got the inside position, so there's no reason you can't get to the ball quicker.
Yeah, but that was they should have come up with a couple of those rebounds, Jerry, I thought.
Yes, they should have. Yeah. I won't. No, there's no. So to I guess answer your question, they still screwed up. They just did it differently than you thought.
You're still terrible at what you do. You're just terrible in a way I wasn't expecting you to be terrible at it. Jerry, here's another question for you. Actually, more of a insight of this. So we know that the Clippers games both came down to game buzzer plays. Kawhi's lefty in the lane in LA to take the Kings to a loss by 1. And then yesterday, DeMar with his throw-up heave at the last second. 1-point losses by the Kings on both sides. With the Clippers being around the 4th seed, roughly is where they're going to finish, are you encouraged by the Kings' play, even with the losses, knowing that they can hang with a 4th seed and they're only a ball bounce away from actually winning these games?
Well, strangely, yes. I think they're getting better. I think they are getting better in the last 4 or 5 games. I mean, they played, I think, a strong game against Denver, who really played one of their best games.
Sure did.
Because both teams, both Denver and the Clippers, are really playing for positioning, where more so than the Kings, really. But I thought, I think we're seeing the Kings here at the end. I think playing pretty close to who they are. I mean, having said that, I don't think they're a contender, for anything to speak of. I think they could win a play-in game and maybe 2. And of course, that would get them to Oklahoma City, and I wouldn't be very encouraged about that matchup.
Yeah, that seems pretty good.
Coach, do you think, I know 2.2 seconds is not a lot of time. Should the Kings have been able to get off a better look for that last attempt last night?
Well, you'd hope so, because, I mean, I understand if it's, 9/10 of a second or something, but you'd like to think you could have got something better. I'm pretty sure Coach Christie DeMar probably wasn't the guy he would have preferred to get the ball to first. I mean, I would have thought Levine would have been the guy, because he's so much better with the quick release and everything.
Yeah.
And able to jump up over guys. But, so, it's, it is one of those things where, as a fan, we always think, well, why don't they get the ball to this guy or that guy? Well, the defense has something to say about that.
Yes. We've
and I don't know. Yeah. And, surprisingly, timeouts and stuff, they talk about that sort of thing.
And that's a pretty good defensive team too, right? That's a good defensive team. They tried to pull it off.
A very good defensive team. I'll tell you what, Jeff Van Gundy has done a marvelous job there. And I mean, Ty Lue's a heck of a coach himself, but that's a different defense than Ty Lue's we've seen with the Clippers the last couple of years.
I have a weird question for you, Jerry. I apologize for interrupting, but I just had a quick question in regards to Rick Adelman. I know that you've had a relationship with him over the years, with him being such a successful coach for the Kings and your connection with them. Did you ever get to know his son, the one that took over for the Denver Nuggets? Is his name David, I believe? David. Did you know David when he was young, as like a little kid growing up?
Yeah, I did. And, very bright, always interested in basketball, obviously had a college background and so I'm not surprised that he's in the position he's in. Obviously, the way it happened is surprising, of course. But definitely. And like I told Whitey and Kyle the other day, I've always told Rick, I said, with David, I think he's got a lot of Rick's creative coaching ability, and fortunately, he has his mother's personality. Yeah. I used to call Rick Mr. Happy.
Oh yes, for sure, definitely. I think I assume him and Keegan Murray are going for a smiling contest.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I was going to say the whole time. I always ask Rick, is there a time at home you ever smile? We don't get to see that.
It was hidden under the mustache. Yeah.
Speaking of smiles, one of the biggest smiles I got from the game you just did was when Doug came over and gave you a greeting. And I know that's personal, but it was very emotional just for us watching it. Is there anything about that you'd be willing to share with us, Jerry, about what he said or just how it felt to you to have him come over like that?
Well, I think what he said is a little bit personal, but I mean, we've had a good relationship, as a player, and then more importantly, during his broadcasting days when we were both broadcasting to some degree and spending a lot of time together and talking, and that was the thing. We always talk basketball, as I do a lot. And, I'd like to say, he was one of those guys I always remember saying, Doug, this broadcasting thing it'll always be there, but you want to coach. I know you want to coach, and that's what you ought to do. You're a coach. And I think I was right. I always said there's 3 people I encouraged to coach that I knew, and that was Jim Les, and Carol Lawson, and Doug Christie. And I still think I'm 3 for 3.
Yeah.
How close was Phantom to making that list, Jerry?
He was, let's see, how many people are there in America today?
America plus 1.
Wow. Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Jerry, we've got.
Hey, by the way, I mean, Phantom's on there, but he'd be behind Emron.
Yeah.
So there.
Oh, yeah.
You got to clarify a little bit.
Thank you. I'm glad that you said that. Jerry, we've got Doug's final game, regular season tomorrow, and potentially, and we hope not, his last game as interim head coach moving forward with the Wednesday play-in game. What can we take as Kings fans into this offseason as Vivek and Monty and whoever's going to be in the front office moving forward? What can we take from this sample size of Doug as a coach in a positive direction, whether he's the permanent coach or maybe this is the end of his tenure as a Kings coach?
Well, I think a couple things you could take for sure is that when he took over the team originally as interim coach, he made them better. They clearly got better. They won more games, so that's better. And then with all the trades and all the things, he had a different team, and they struggled for a while. Were very disappointing. But here at the end of the season, again, he's made them better, and that's pretty much what a coach is supposed to do. The old saying. I mean, Greg Popovich, when he didn't have great players, he didn't win any games either. I hate to break news to people, and Pat Riley had a couple of 20-win seasons. So in my mind, all a coach can do is motivate the players that he has and try to utilize them correctly. And I think he's, definitely with the talent currently available, it doesn't fit very well, but I think he's starting to utilize it as well as he can. If you could make every player great, you'd have a whole bunch of Michael Jordans,
Yeah.
And it really, a lot of guys, that's why you have D and F students in history. Some of them can't learn it.
That's the teacher going through. Jerry, we have it's a sports card show. Emron has a sports cards question for you, but I think, you have a good shot at answering this because it's a question about one of your cards. So what do you have for him?
So Jerry, I'm going to give you some cards. The highest price, I'd like you to guess the amount of the highest price cards of each one of these players, and I'm going to end with your specific scenario as well. So I'm going to start with my all-time favorite King growing up, still to this day, was our man Wayman Tisdale, one of the greats. You coached him. I love Tizzy. I remember watching on Channel 31, the games being called and watching you coach. And I think Russell was somewhere in there in that mix too. Bill Russell was somewhere in that mix too.
GM at that time.
Right. And so Wayman Tisdale, his card is a 1987 Fleer, Wayman Tisdale. It's a PSA 10, PSA being the grading company, numbered 1 to 10, 10 being the best. What do you believe? This sold on October 27th, 2024, Jerry. What do you believe the highest priced Wayman Tisdale card sold for?
Now, what tier was it?
This is a PSA 10, 1987 Fleer card.
So like flawless, right?
Yeah.
Flawless.
Yeah.
I'd say, because at that time he was probably with the Pacers, wasn't he?
That's correct.
Yeah. So, and former number 2 pick in the draft, maybe 25,000.
Ooh, Jerry's really shooting high. We love Wayman. Rest in peace. I love him, and I actually listened to his music after he retired as well. His bass music is wonderful music.
Yeah.
$6,100 sold October 27th. Which, Jerry, by the way, ungraded, that card by itself, ungraded, goes for about $2.
Wow.
It's that rare of a card to have a PSA 10.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
All
so
right,
that's
all right.
Wayman Tisdale. All right, another.
Well, I'd say too that if people knew him like I did,
You were correct on that price.
It should be worth $25,000.
There you go. There you go.
Special man.
You know, I tried to be one of the extras on his. He did a music video where he was dancing out in the streets, and he had kids with him and stuff. And I was begging my family, please let me be. I want to be one of those, as if I was going to be picked. But Wayman was just a man of Sacramento. I loved him. I certainly do miss him. He was one of my reasons why I became such a Kings fan as a kid. All right, Jerry, your second person here. We've got the great Chris Webber, the Hall of Famer. He had a 1993 Finest refractor card. That's his rookie card. It is less than $6,100. I can tell you that now, but it's a PSA Gem Mint. It sold December 27th of 2024 is when this actual sale happened. What do you believe the 1993 Finest refractor Chris Webber rookie card went for?
$5,750.
He's getting closer. He's feeling very Price is Righty. $4,400. That card ungraded goes for about $70. So that just tells you how rare a PSA 10 is. We'll go one more here. How about our favorite guy that shoots the 3-pointer with his toe on the line, Mitch Richmond, the Hall of Famer. He had a 1996 card, and this is our second to last one, Jerry. I promise not to keep putting you through this. 1996 Topps Chrome Refractor Mitch Richmond, PSA 10, sold May 3rd of 2022. It's not his rookie card, so it's not as valuable, but it is a 4-figure card. What's your guess on that one?
I'd say $1,500.
He's getting closer every time. $1,100, this Mitch Richmond card. This card goes for roughly about $30 ungraded. Now, finally, and the most important one, Jerry.
Can I, before you get to that, can I just quickly ask Jerry, is that your favorite trade you ever made, Jerry?
Yeah, that was definitely the favorite. Billy Owens for Mitch Richmond, and so
was that straight up, Jerry? No other pieces?
Les Jepson.
We got Les Jepson too,
with a mullet. Is that Les Jepson?
I don't remember.
Oh my goodness!
I really don't remember. I don't remember.
And Jerry, you've never had a bad trade, but was one that was a little bit of a could have.
Oh, you don't ask him
that. Oh well, yeah, we'll leave it alone. Well, that's fine.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Well, there's several musts, but probably
some that weren't his. Some he had to make that he didn't want to make, but it's like. I have to trade this guy? Yes, you have to. All right, I'll make the best.
Okay. Yeah. So Whitey and I talked.
More. There's actually more of the guys I wanted to trade.
They're still there. You look down the bench going, why are you still here?
Yeah.
Last one, and Whitey and I had this conversation before we went on air, and I said, this is probably what Jerry's going to say as soon as I tell him what the number is. All right, Jerry, do you know how many cards you have in your trading cards you have under your name and your likeness? Do you know how many you have?
No.
Different ones. The most popular one is the 1989 Hoops one. It was the reason why that card is so important is because it started a whole generation. I was 12 years old when that card came out, and that generation of kids that were watching the NBA on NBC and Jordan and the hype of where we were growing basketball into the sport that it is today. That really started right around those years. So this 89 hoop set was a brand new set that had never been made before.
Isn't that the one you saw at the Hall of Fame one year, Jerry? The whole set?
That is.
Yeah.
That is. Yeah, that was the first generation. They had a display there, and I happened to be visiting Springfield, Mass, in the old Hall of Fame Museum, and they had it there, and I stood by it for a long time, see if anybody recognized me, but
if you don't
I
mind,
thought about this.
yeah, tell us more about that, please. Tell us more about that, because I'm very interested in what I didn't know it was in the Hall of Fame or that set.
It was then. I don't know if it still is, but I remember asking one of the people there, and I said, is this display going to be here for a long time or ever? He said, well, as far as I know, forever, because it was the first, I guess, the first of that.
Oh.
So immediately I just took it as, hey, I'm in the Hall of Fame. That's it.
And your wife was very impressed by that, right?
Well, not particularly, but she didn't see it as necessarily being in there. But I said, well, my picture along with 300 others are in here, but I told her, I said, I saw the picture and the sport coat, and I said, man, if I could be here a few more days, I'd have you send that sport coat out, and I'd come here again and stand next to it. So I'd look at
I wish we'd go back to the sport coats and suits. Oh, I miss those days. Jerry, here's the card. It's a 1989 Hoops card.
Jerry Reynolds,
card number 161. Now, Jerry, roughly it costs about $25 to $30 to get a card graded. Okay. This card in particular has been graded by PSA 3 times ever in history. 3. Okay. There's one that's a PSA 9 and 2 that are PSA 10s. A PSA 10 of your card recently sold
at auction
March 6th, 2025, as in just a few weeks ago, less than a month, a little bit over a month ago. People were bidding on this, Jerry, bidding on it.
Really?
Yes. The card itself, sitting alone, would be worth about 50 cents, not graded. This card has been graded at PSA 10. There's 2 in the world. Jerry, what do you believe the card sold for?
I would say $3.35.
Incorrect. You shorted yourself. It sold on March 6th of this year for $83.
$83.
Really?
$83. People were.
I told my wife not to bid on that.
That's terrific.
Why? Because you were trying to win it, and the two of you were bidding against each other.
No, I've got a couple of them. So
$83, Jerry.
Yeah,
that is higher than the other Jerry Reynolds in the set.
Well, I don't know. I do know I still get autographed. People send them to me every week. I get 1 or 2 a week. Yeah.
Do you send them back?
They're there.
Do you sign them and send them back?
Oh yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
I said that our buddy Dan.
I get the other Jerry Reynolds too. the player.
Do you sign that one as well? Not me. Not me.
I just say you have the wrong Jerry Reynolds, and I send them back because I don't. They should get the cards back. It wasn't their mistake per se.
Thank you very much for joining us today,
hard.
Jerry. We really, really, really appreciate it. It's always a lot of fun. It's been so great to have you back on TV this week. So you're so generous with your time. I'll never, ever not appreciate that greatly. So enjoy the rest of your weekend. And, enjoy the Masters.
I will, and would enjoy the Masters, and hopefully get Kings beat Phoenix. It's going to be hard for me to watch both. I might have to kind of lean toward the Masters on a Sunday. You know what I'm saying? I just got to be honest with you. I mean, it's kind of the Kings are going to be 9. They're going to be 9-10. Play Dallas regardless. What difference it's making? And the truth is, they're as good on the road as they are at home. So there again.
I guess the last question then, before we close out the show, Jerry, is if the Kings end up with the home game here for the play-in, will you get out of the recliner and go to the game if you had a ticket?
Probably not.
You're a silly guy.
Have
Thanks,
a great
Coach.
weekend.
We'll see you soon.
All right. See you guys.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks so much for joining us today. How about Chris Verlad getting it?
Verlad. Keeping us on track.
Yeah. Anything else before we wrap things up?
No, just come visit us at the shop, 6661 Stanford Ranch there. True Sports Cards. We'd love to see you. We're buying all weekend. Me, Shep, the team, we're ready to go. So we'll see you soon. Thank you, Whitey, for hosting today.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, if you're at Amarant's, ask if I'm in the back going through stuff.
You might be. Don't try to talk to him, though. He doesn't like to talk off mic.
Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks for joining us. True Sports Card Show, Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it.